Today, I want to share something very personal to me. Maybe one way or the other, it will edify you. And that is what has convinced me that there is a God. I mean, the God of Christianity, Jesus Christ. Yes, I want you to listen to this. And if you're an atheist, listen regardless, because I believe this one way or the other could take you to your conviction. Yes, it is personal to me, but I want to share it for edification. As we all know, the existence of God has been the highest debated hypothesis on earth. You know, some still do not believe today that there's a God, whereas some are enjoying the benefits that is. Yeah, the things that have convinced me that there is a God are many, many of them, but I'll just share three that are very, very convincing. Number one is the word. I was born into a Christian family and I was exposed to scripture. I read scripture all my life. I read scripture as though internal university and I still read today. Yeah, from my experience and level of education, I could tell irrevocably that the Bible, which is the word here, is not a man-made book. There is a wisdom in the Bible that is beyond human. From my experience, there are some prophecies that are very, very accurate. As a matter of fact, 99% of prophecies in the scripture are accurate. They all have come to pass. There are some divine messages in the scripture that you cannot take away. You will be convinced that it wasn't made up by some smart men who came up with it in order to subdue their subjects. The word which is contained in the Bible is divine. So this is one of the convictions that I have that God exists. Number two is creation. Yes, creation is all encompassing. I mean, everything in existence, from microorganism to the visible universe and invisible universe. The scripture says in Romans 1:20 that his invisible attributes are seen in his creation. Yes, we will see it. Take, for example, the mechanism in your system, in your body, the things that work together to make you who you are today. You know, it's very incredible. It's not by chance. So creation goes a long way to reveal to us that there is an intelligence behind everything. As you may know, they just completed Artemis 2 voyages to the moon. One of the crews, Victor Glover, preached earnestly while afar off because he saw the earth. And his colleague, who happens to be atheist, Red Wiseman, after he arrived on earth, he said that it is very incredible not to think that there's an intelligence behind everything. So creation reveals God to us and we could see it. This brings me to the third and final thing, which is personal experience. Yes, this is key. I mean, this is the highest that has convinced me that there is a God. My personal experiences. I've had so many experiences giving into God, it's transitory. Most times I give in totality to experience Him. Sometimes I backslide and He will be hidden from me. But the few ones I was able to rear up my antenna, I encountered some things I cannot ignore. One of which is when I was in school, I had a room, and that room I painted it in white. The bed was white. Everything in that room was white. It was intentional because I wanted it to always remind me of purity, to do it right. Okay. So a certain time comes when I was spiritual. I took to fasting and prayer. I was also preaching, talking to people about the Lord, and I fasted for a long time. I kept praying. I was reading the word like every day, you know. At a point, whenever I'm worshiping, praying in that room, I would find out that smoke would fill up the room. Like I'll be seeing it everywhere will be smoke, you know. Although spiritual things, you conceive it, you don't shout, you just conceive and look forward to more things that will happen. So that was happening to me, but it was an experience. It didn't happen once, two, or twice. It was happening steady, and it wasn't a surprise to me because already I was having serial communication with the God in me. That's what I call it, the God in me. So I was having communications. I was already in the pipeline, so it was not surprise. I just concluded that I've got to a height where I encountered something supernatural. Yes, so that was a great conviction. Another one is revelations. I've had so many revelations that I cannot ignore, especially the ones that comes while you're sleeping, Imagine you're in the physical and when you go to bed, you're in another realm and you're at a lot. So there's a difference between revelation and dream. And in revelation, there's still parts because there's some revelation that you won't know what you're doing. But in this case, you will be at a lot to dictate things. Even when things are being revealed to you, you will ask questions and what have you. Most times you could even know that you were not on earth, that you was actually in another realm, and you knew you were sleeping, but you were in another realm and you're being taught. So these are things that are very uncommon that I can't ignore the existence of a God. The most of all is prophecy. I've had personal prophecies in my life where upon God would reveal something to me that so thing will happen, so that, and it will happen. The exact. This started long ago, even while I was very little. So these are the things that have convinced me that there's a God. Above all, for instance, if I met John today and I don't know who John is willing to be my friend. What I do, I go to bed, I pray, I say, God, I know John very well. Please, could you tell me all about John and what will come of our relationship? And if I was in a good stand, I mean, if I was well consecrated, God is going to reveal everything about John to me that night. That's incredible. It's not accident. So anybody that tells you that most of the dreams you had, most of the revelations you had, are the things you concealed before you go to bed or you had thought of, it's a lie. There's so many times I would take myself off and say, God, show me something I never thought of, I never think of, and that will happen. The scripture says that the things we've not heard, neither has it been told, that we would know about it. So there is a God beyond conviction. These outside divine powers like healing, performing of miracles, casting of devil, exorcising evil spirits, and so many things. So you can't take that away. There is a God. And I'm talking to you today to give in. Give everything you have to see that you experience the manifestation of God. Because it's only when you give in that you can see this. God says, draw near to me and I will draw near to you. So you have to come close. So if you don't come close, you will not know. And if you don't know, because of the realm you are operating from, you will think is inconceivable. There is a God. There is. Get to that heart and you experience it. Trust me, your life will never be the same. I believe this was edifying enough.